Hello, beautiful artists. I am getting so excited because it's going to be September, and September means fall, and I love the colors. Today, I'm going to be painting some leaves that are going to have these type of colors. I'm using my 140 pound cold pressed paper. This is the Artisto, which I know we've had a lot of questions about this. If you want the link I last used that I did receive these exact ones, I will put it down below. This says summer 2025, but I'm starting to move into fall, so I will change the title on this because I like to keep these for reference and catalog them. The brush I'm going to be using, actually, let's go to our paints first because I'm going to soften them up a bit here. I am so excited for fall. Every year I get this real excitement for this time of the year. And then I am going to be using kind of unusual. You can use my number 8 brush. Let me just grab that. If you have that, absolutely, you can use that. These Degatos I share a lot. Number 8 Degato, perfect. You get a whole set for like $15. But I saw this little Princeton Neptune. Now the Neptune is a lot softer than the snappier 8 brushes, but I wanted to play with it a bit. I've also got my 2 containers of water. This one's a little bit blue, but that's okay. Wash and rinse, and this is my Meeden, excuse me, water dish. I love. It's heavy. I'm not going to accidentally knock it over. And of course, my Paul Rubens paints you see me use all the time. So let's go ahead and get started. The colors I want to use, let me flip my palette around here. There we go. I want to use these oranges and reds, maybe a little bit of browns. So that's what I'm going to be using. Let me see if I can move that over a bit so you can see some of it. There we go. And actually, you know, your color pencils would do really well here too. I just did a tutorial on the color pencils, so you can check that out. I have my Paul Rubens in this palette as well. Now this is my large palette. I leave this on my desk. It's pretty heavy and I've got it on a Lazy Susan so I can kind of spin it around and get all the colors. But it's quite heavy. It takes up quite a bit of space, but it's perfect for my desk. Okay. So some of the colors, again, that I plan to use are going to be these oranges, some golds. I'm also going to do very wet and washy. We've got some beautiful oranges in there and even some browns. All right, let's start with wetting my brush. And I'm going to go into, I want to go in with a brown stem. So if you are using something like the Neptune that has a much softer bristles, they're going to absorb a lot. So just something to be aware of. And before I go to use it, I'm going to tap it off a little bit to get rid of any of that excess paint and liquid. So tap, tap, tap. And then let's just go ahead with our first stem here. So I went quite dark there. Let's start with that. I'm going to rinse my brush, scrape it off, wash it actually, scrape it off, rinse it. And then let's go into, I'm gonna use my kind of like a yellow ochre. I'll mix here and play with your colors. Like, what colors are you loving for fall? So I've got a little bit of the yellow sienna there, tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to go in, point, press, lift up, point, press, and I'm leaving it. As you know, I normally go damp and damp, but I really wanted to play with some of this really wet. Point, press, point, press, and lift up. And then let's go into a bit of that brown, just at the tip. I will also be adding in some of this beautiful red. Being careful because it is a bit concentrated. And just tapping in. Now you might be wanting to go in there and fix it and move it into the exact spot, but let's just practice leaving it. Now I'm going to go back to that gold, point, press, see how much that opens up the belly, and back in here, point, press, and you can certainly use the tip of your brush to kind of spread that out. I'm going to pick up a little yellow ochre, point, press, maybe tap in some of that there, some of that red. Just having fun with these colors. A little bit of the dark brown for maybe some of those edges that might be starting to hibernate for the fall. Aren't those colors so pretty? Oh my gosh, I love them. Rinsing my brush a bit, and I'm going to grab, let's see, what is this color? I'm really just playing with what's in my palette. And let's just create a leaf here. Point, press, I'm touching into the neighboring leaf. Point, press, because I want to get this really pretty blend here. Another one right here. Point, press, and then I'm going to go over that stem with my brown. Maybe tap in a little bit. Maybe there's some little burnt edges here and there. We could add some red. Just play with your colors and come up with that beautiful fall palette. Now, I think what I want to do is maybe go in here with a very light wash. So I've got about 80% water, 20% pigment. And let's just do a neighboring, let's see what color we got here. That's pretty light. I might even want it a little bit lighter. Yeah. So we'll go in and point, press, because I want it to kind of pull some of that color. Point, press, and be very light. Then I'll go in for that stem. So I really like that lighter look. I'm going to rinse my brush again, and let's pull one out maybe right here. I'm going to get a little bit more water, scrape my brush, point, press, something like that. And then we'll add that stem in. There we go. I really like that. Isn't that fun? So let me go over. The next thing I would really like to do is let's play with a little bit of gold. Just see what that looks like. So I'll start with my stem again, using the tip of my brush, and I'm holding down near the ferrule because it gives me more control. So just using that tip, very light pressure. And I'm going to do a few little stems that come out here. And now let's go in, wash, rinse my brush, make sure I got all that dark brown out. And I'm going to go in with that yellow ochre again, being kind of careful because yellow ochre can be a little powerful. Tap, tap, tap. And let's just start painting. Point, press, point, press, point, press, point, press, point press, point press. So we've got all these beautiful gold stems here, or leaves. I'm going to tap in a bit. Just tap in some of those other beautiful colors. Point press, point press, and maybe one more right here. Rinse that brown off my brush. Go into this one more time. Point press. Need a little bit more water. Point press, opening up that belly. Point press, there we go. Now, I just can't resist. I feel like I want to add in a little bit of that reddish color because it's so darn pretty. Now, here's the fun part. I'm going to go into the Golden Series. You know, I use this a lot. You can buy these individually. So I buy the whole set because I use them all. But I'm going to use the Brilliant Gold. That one is my absolute favorite. And go in there and let's just add a few gold leaves. I think that'll be really beautiful. So loading my brush on its side, and I keep my metallics quite thick. And then point press, point press, and we've got this beautiful gold leaf. Let's get a little bit more of that. Point press. Oh, that's so pretty. Maybe one right here. Point press. Point press. Oh, isn't that so beautiful? And then I think here, I don't even know if I've used this color. Let's see. It's in this set and it's called Caramel. Let's see if that might be pretty. Now I've got some gold on my brush still, but let's see if we can pick a little of that out. Isn't that fun? I really want to load my brush good. Let's see what that color is. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, I love these sparkles. Okay, let's do a leaf right here. Point press. Ooh, yeah, that's gorgeous. Look how pretty that is. We are going to be using these a lot, my beautiful artists, for this fall. So again, this one is Caramel. You can order these separate. The one I typically use a lot is Brilliant Gold. Let's just do another one right here. Point press, point press. Oh my goodness, those are so pretty. I'm gonna do some acorns with this one as well because that's just too pretty not to use more. And then I'll use my little Degado brush here and create some little stems. There we go. Oh my goodness, aren't those gorgeous? I feel like I want to even add one right in there. And let's put one here, point press. Ooh, look at that. So pretty, you guys. I hope you can see that shine and that shimmer. Gorgeous. And then we'll add our little stem. There we go. And just for fun right now, let me try something because I love double loading my brush. Let's see if it would show up if we did these two colors. So I'll use that Caramel on one side, and this is my angle brush, and then the gold on the other. And let's see what we get here. Point press. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love the angle brush. I know a lot of you are really having some fun with it as well. And then here's our gold. Let's do the other side. Point press. Oh my gosh, you guys. How beautiful is that? I hope you can pick up that color. Let's do another one. Point press. Maybe a nice big fat leaf. Point press. Oh goodness. Beautiful. All right, everybody. Well, I can't wait. I already have started working on lots of fun videos for starting September, and just look at these beautiful colors. I'll link her MAB, are these metallics. You know I use them all the time. You can buy the whole set, the Golden Series, or you can buy them individually like me. And I think that's it. Happy painting. I'm here to remind you, you are an artist, and I can't wait for fall, everybody. I'll see you soon. Happy painting.